We do have one standout black man in this launch crew of this movie. I thought he was going to be like the one chocolate chip in the background of the cookie, but he has talking lines. He might honestly be the only black man in the movie. I can't remember anyone else that wasn't white in the whole movie. Maybe? No, I don't remember. All right. Welcome. Once again, we're jumping into the Nexus here. Another installment of Flicks and Giggles. Yay! I'm X, she's Ree. Today I'm going to regale you with my views and impressions of Fly Me to the Moon, which we saw this weekend. Right off the bat, I'm just gonna say, I don't feel like this belongs in summer blockbuster season. This feels like an early October movie or something like that. Like not where like your big summer, July even. But
Yeah.
I feel similarly. Let me know in the comments if you have like any insight why this movie was in the summer and not like in March or something. I would love to hear it. I would love any insight about anything I'm about to talk about. But seriously, if you agree with me, let me know. Validate my feelings or argue with them. I don't mind that. But let's dive into this. We had to buy tickets a day and a half in advance for a movie that wasn't Dune. I'm sorry. Like to get decent seats for this, we had to seriously buy them. Like we were looking at Friday night, like, oh, let's go tomorrow. Let's go Saturday. It was like, oh, can't till Saturday night. Nope. Had to go Sunday morning
Dang.
because at the theater, none of the theater times for it were in theaters that had more than a 45 person maximum occupancy. This was a new movie in the tiny theaters. Like, I feel
Wow.
like this lamb was sent to slaughter. There is no way you're going to make a significant box office earnings when you're in theaters that are like, oh, at most 50 people can watch this at a time. At most. And nobody's paying for that front row of the busted neck section where you're just looking up at the sky. No one's buying those seats, even in the small theater. So there's no way it's making good money. But that does not mean the movie is not without its charm. It has some charm. This is a 1960s rose colored lenses look at the space race and the anti communist propaganda that we lived for in America in the
Mm.
60s. And I'm going to say this twice, but they toned down the isms, particularly some of the sexism. You can't erase it. It's the 60s. Sexism was normal, but they
Prominent.
dialed it down. And this gave Scarlett Johansson's character room to like do her thing, do her stuff.
Okay.
And her character's name is Kelly. So when
Okay.
I reference the opinions and comments of another Kelly that I saw it with, do not get confused. Um, so like that's her name. I think her character's last name is Jones. If I read like the credits right, it's Kelly Jones. But her whole name has a little more to do with a larger plot point that I will not spoil any more than that. It's nothing groundbreaking like, oh my God, she killed Kennedy. No, it's nothing like that. No. So this is the whole tale is about how NASA was losing the space race and all the pressure that put on all the engineers and scientists and technicians trying to get us to fulfill Kennedy's promise of getting a man on the moon within the decade. And so I think the movie starts off and it's 1968, and we obviously still haven't got a man on the moon, but the program is like chugging along and they're like fighting it, and they're like 180 days or so away from launch. Now, that's just to set the stage. That's what's happening in Cape Canaveral in Florida. In New York, we see Scarlett Johansson's character kicking ass. She is a sales rep, a marketing rep, a finesser of men, of people in general on a corporate level. Like, she will use all the conniving she can. She's in her Mad Men bag on this in a lot of ways
Okay.
and playing the Mad Men. Like, um, accents, changing her persona entirely to fit the room or play to your expectations or non expectations just to get over on you. This is the way she moves. She's worse than a politician. She is. It's it's got to be a sociopathic superpower to be able to work people over that well, and
Yeah.
that's what he does. Channing Tatum, he plays Cole Davis. He's the opposite end of the spectrum. Korean war ace pilot. He's now the director, the launch director for the Apollo program, and most of the NASA guys in the movie, like they even comment on it, they skew rather young. So this dude to be like the top point in Cape Canaveral, he looks like he's all of 30, and um,
Hmm.
he looks even younger because next to him is Ray Romano, who's like one of the other guys who's like fairly important there. And like Ray, time ain't being too kind to him, so it's like you're making Channing Tatum look even younger. And
I didn't even know he was in that. Okay.
like the coolest part about his character to me is like you're looking at 1960s NASA. Everybody in there is wearing like the cheap Sears slacks with the white button-up shirt, the short sleeve shirt that needs a pocket protector that says "Please beat me up after math class." That
Mm-hmm.
outfit with the black glasses, he's in there, no glasses, no button-up shirt. He's just got mock turtlenecks on the whole movie
Okay.
and chilling. Like he gets to wear blues and greens and colors. They're all in the black pants, white shirt, and it's like I wouldn't work for you, man. You got a messed up dress code because you up here looking like comfortable with the thick cotton blends, cozy, and I'm up here looking like Dilbert. Um, so obviously, with those two being our leads, we're looking at a straight standard opposites attract by the numbers rom com, which is what this is. It really is. The backbone of the movie is this opposites attract relationship that, from the minute they meet, it clicks right into place. Not a big deal. Zero surprises, and honestly, it's as predictable as any other rom com would be. Which I don't know if that's a negative comment. Like, aren't rom coms supposed to be
Yeah.
kind of
I
ABC?
mean, that's what Hallmark and Lifetime have always banked on. I mean, all of it's predictable, but they still they still making money off that. So, I mean,
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of thing.
yeah, pretty
I mean, it's
much.
never been my cup of tea, but I'm not hating on it. I'm just calling it like I saw it. Uh,
I
Plus,
love
we
me
get
a
Woody
good
Harrelson.
romantic film.
Woody Harrelson's playing the G-Man Mo. He is the
Ah.
uh, agent, the obviously mysterious government agent man. Don't know what agency he works for. He just works for the government, and he is here to hold the capitalist agenda forward to thwart communism at every possible turn, and that's all that matters. And that obviously plays into um, motivations to get us on the goddamn moon. So he's about that. I already mentioned Ray Romano.
Wait, his name
Uh,
is Mo?
Mo.
Like
His name is Mo.
like Wally. Okay.
It's like Agent Smith or I was gonna say Cobra Bubbles, but that's a much better agent name. Um,
That is true.
um, I mentioned Ray Romano. Anna Garcia, she plays Scarlett Johansson's like right hand chick, her assistant, her Robin to her Batman, and she's very aware of the web of lies that uh, Kelly Jones weaves in the movie. And there's an odd sense of honor between them about what they're doing. Like they are professional liars and manipulators, but they're not heartless monsters about it. I think it's an interesting line to walk, but
It's a very thin line.
it takes a particular instance in the movie for them to finally like directly draw a line at that. Like normally what we do is either fun or we're getting over on bad guys. This one feels wrong. That actually gets said in the movie.
Okay.
And it does it's the only real shot you have to kind of show that like she's not a complete sociopath. And then we get my man Jim Rash, Dean from Community, who
Okay.
is still deaning from Community. He's dressing wild, he's flamboyant, and he's definitely a comic relief character, but he plays into this because he plays an important part of the last thing I'm going to talk about. As the romance blooms, we have the most fun watching Cole and Kelly work over people who they're trying to do as or trying to get something out of as they're trying to push the space forward, the space program agenda forward. She comes on to garner favor, public support, make this a viable product to sell to the public. And this also means you got to schmooze over some senators to get some money and some votes because the program is losing because what else is happening in the 60s? There's a war. There's a war in Vietnam.
Yeah.
It's just like more attention can go here. And in addition to that, the space program's always a weird one because it's like we got to put money towards, I don't know what else was happening in the 60s. I was very far from alive, but, tornado damage, flood damage, earthquake damage. There's all kinds of things that federal money can go towards before lofty aspirations of walking among the stars. And
Right.
that plays into this. So you need someone like Kelly to come in and be able to work over a senator, schmooze this guy over, bamboozle this dude to be like, oh, I'll vote in favor of more funding for this, or I'll blah, 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 that. And two of them, you need Kelly Jones to come in there and work over, and she does. One of them, Cole works over by his walk the straight and narrow path and be a stand up guy at every possible moment of his life. And that's real cool. And one of them is quite comical and is really just Colin Jost showing up to be in his wife's movie and make me laugh.
I
It
love
was
that for
really
them.
now, like I said, not just the sexism was toned down, the racism of the 60s was toned down too. I know as early as 1961, NASA was hiring blacks in things relevant to the space program. Not
Yeah.
for anything glamorous, of course. It was the 60s. But we saw Hidden Figures. We know what was going on and how pretty it was not. Someone had to knock them walls down. It was not a sunshiny experience. But we do have one standout black man in this launch crew of this movie, with a surprisingly larger role than I thought he was going to have. I thought he was going to be like the one chocolate chip in the background of the cookie, but he has talking lines. He's very very important to the plot as we have to deal with, and he might honestly be the only black man in the movie. I can't remember anyone else that wasn't white in the whole movie. Um, maybe no, I don't remember. And probably in reality, nobody in that launch control room was black, so they're just throwing my man in there. Like, he really stood out to me. I tried to look up the launch team real fast, like the actual launch team of the Apollo 11 on like the Smithsonian website, as a reasonable, fast, reputable source. No luck, so I don't have any more cool details on that. If anybody watching this knows any non-whites that were directly involved in the Apollo 11 launch, I would love to hear about it. Honestly, like, feed my knowledge for historical tidbits.
Yeah, that would be
But
interesting.
yeah, our isms are down. They make the film more palatable and fun, and it
Wait, who
keeps
was the black actor?
know him. He ain't been in nothing I watched. I'm
Oh,
old now.
wow.
He's like young. I didn't get his name.
All right. Good to know. Good to know.
Said the isms were toned down. I don't have to hold him high up. He did a good job in the movie. Want to know his name? Watch the movie and watch the credits. He out there. He
Damn,
has
that's cold.
numerous speaking lines and scenes.
That's cold. So cold.
Um. So yeah. What we have that the movie does is it plays with the conspiracy theory of the moon landing. Like, was it faked? Was it real? That stuff is what the movie's really actually about. And um, it does address that the only way you can do it without actually like offending 1,001 people. And I think it does that fairly well because you can't just make a movie and say the moon landing was absolutely real and no one ever attempted to fake it because you'll make people mad. The conspiracy theorists, but but you damn sure can't make a movie saying the moon landing was faked and America was lied to because that would be wildly offensive to an even wider audience of people. So I
Yeah?
think this movie actually and truthfully toes that line perfectly, and that's the climax because our G-Man's like, you have to do this as a backup plan in case the launch doesn't work. And no one likes this idea. That's like, you want me to create the great lie, and that's what Kelly Jones is hired to do. But she doesn't know that when she is first brought on. So it's like, ugh, rough. But as we build to that climax, we get some cool reveals into the characters of our main plot line here. Cole's got some baggage he's carrying that like defines his character, and he's carrying that, and you see it through it relevant to early Apollo missions. Again, he's really crazy young because this is like his not his first time as a launch director, and he does not seem old in the movie. And Channing Tatum doesn't look old with movie makeup on. I've never met the dude in real life to know if he looks old without it, but he certainly doesn't look old with it.
I was going to say, I find it very interesting that he played a younger role, and I'm sure he's way over 30. So
And he's not really old. Like he ain't even 40
I'm
yet,
not
is he?
saying old, but I'm saying older than 30.
Is he?
He
I don't
can.
be knowing.
He's older than me for sure. He has to be. Let me see. Oh, you
I
go
don't
on.
know.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm disrespecting as the only black man in the movie. His name is Donald
He's
Watkins.
44.
Just so you don't. He's older than me. What? Okay.
See? That's
So
what I'm saying.
okay. Man, I'm disrespecting was Donald Watkins. Just so you don't harass me for the rest of the week about not shouting out the only black man in the movie.
I would harass you for the rest of your life because if he like became a superstar, I'd be like, remember that time?
Snubbed him in that Moon movie. Yeah, I'm a punk and I don't deserve no Christmas presents. Yeah, so I apologize. Yeah, as we build to this climax, it's my desire to not spoil things doesn't affect me here because it is very difficult to spoil the real life events of 1969. Um, the moon landing happened. Oh, spoiler. So I mean, that is our big climax. Everything around that moment, getting the footage, and then there's joyfulness and credits. It's really a by the numbers, nice, happy-go-lucky rom-com.
So
So I
basically,
have two major questions
okay, go ahead.
that you may ask or others may want to know.
Ooh.
Was it funny? I smiled. I laughed at Colin Jost. His one little scene was funny. I didn't have a good hearty laugh. Now Kelly did. Oh, she loved it. That was a good ride for her. And I enjoy her joy. It was not aimed at me, I think. I saw that it was funny and I was like, ha. But I wasn't like, none of that was happening. She laughed hard and it was good. So I like
Well,
that.
that's good.
Channing Tatumed. He didn't his thing in front of the camera like he does in every movie you've ever seen him in. Personally, I like him on the whatever that drug they were dealing with in 21 Jump Street was when he's on the chalkboard banging out math and went crazy on that. I prefer that. And my name's Jeff, of course,
Jeff.
but this wasn't really any different for him. I don't think he pushed himself or tested himself at all with this movie. Star Joe came out and said, I'm gonna do like 7 accents, 7 distinctly different accents. Back up and watch me fly. And carried the movie for the most part. It was 2 hours and 11 minutes. Isn't that kind of long for a rom-com?
That's long for something that, like you said, like we were pretty all aware of, like the 60s for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So like just with that in general, it's kind of long. So I don't know how they carry the story. Did it seem long to you when you were watching it?
No, it didn't. That's what was crazy. That's
So
actually serious
it
praise.
flowed pretty well.
It did not feel like it was 2 hours and 11 minutes while I was watching it. So it moved good. I do
That's
not
not bad.
I do not regret seeing this movie. Audience skewed old. Oh my goodness. I was the youngest person in that theater by like 52 years. Like everyone in that theater had to have been like, my great grandkids would love this. It's very colorful. Like, what? I just feel like young people these days don't care about the moon landing thing. Like, I don't think that matters.
Well,
Is that sad?
I don't know.
Genuine question. Like, I'm a
Well,
bad gay.
because I mean, think about it. You got these billionaires who are building their own stuff and going up, and like it's just like second nature to these people. Like, oh, they're going to space. Okay. Like they don't know the intensity and the seriousness and the awe of it. Like they're just numb to everything, I feel like.
Gentleman walking out of the theater after us, he said to his wife, "I just still can't get over it. It's just crazy that we did that in the '60s." As like, yeah, like you didn't even know how microwaves worked back then, and put three dudes on the moon. It was nuts. But next
Yeah.
major question you might ask: was it romantic? It's a romantic comedy. That's half the recipe, right? If your date or your hookup was like on the fence, I don't think this movie's going to push them over for you. I don't think the romance was romancing that hard in this movie. I don't think anything was scintillating or uh, casting any spells. It's more fun than anything. It's very wholesome 60s flirting and not like 1960s movies that show what people were doing in like a room with like much more colorful things and hallucinogens involved. Like, no, this was like very wholesome. It was very fun. It was cute at best, I think, but I don't think this was going. This isn't the movie you're gonna take your girl to and be like, oh, this is gonna cash out well for me. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Well, it might because if your Kelly laughed, laughter is a good thing.
I mean, laughter's
So,
not a bad thing. No
well,
one's
that's
ever
what
like,
I'm
how
saying. If
dare
it
you
puts
take
them in
me
a
to a
good
fun
mood and
movie?
it's fun and wholesome and whatever, it puts you in a good mood, which could open up opportunity. I'm just saying. But I
Maybe.
get what you mean.
Like, no one's watching this and being like, you
It's
should stay over
no
tonight.
love and
But
basketball.
also, no one's watching this and going, I'm gonna burn your car for making me watch this. No one's doing that either.
Right.
Um, it's just like it was fine. But watching it was like it's like one of those Jello molds that have like fruit and stuff in them. That's what it was like to me. Like it's all got that all goofy chopped up fruits and like cantaloupes and strawberries and whatnot in a solid Jello, but it's straight up Jello was good. It wasn't like that Flavor Aid Royal brand knockoff Jello. It was the real deal Jello. It just had all that fruit and chunky business in there. Like I don't need all that in a movie sometimes, but I don't need all that in my Jello. But it wasn't offensive that the chunky bits were in there. I just ignored them in this Jello.
So my question is because I feel like I didn't see a lot of advertising or anything on it. I haven't even watched the trailer. Um, I mean, the like I told you, the only thing I knew about it was that meme saying this movie poster looks like it's a movie poster of a fake movie inside of a movie, and it does. It did. Um, but like my question is like, do you think maybe possibly it was originally going to be streaming? Because
Ooh,
why would
maybe.
that happen that way?
It's possible, but the reason everything looks like it's about a movie inside of a movie is because it is.
No, I
A
don't even mean
significant
that. I'm
portion
saying
is that.
you're saying in the theater that you went to, it opened but not in bigger theaters.
No.
It was in the smaller ones.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I think Despicable Me is just kicking wholesale ass in terms of box office, and the theaters are
For
so hungry
sure.
for
I
money.
just think
They're
it's
like,
crazy
I'm not
when
moving this. I need them seats filled.
but it's like you got Channing Tatum, you have Scarlett Johansson, you said Ray Romano, Woody Harrelson, well, which are for the most part well-known people. They carry an audience over to this movie just, oh, Woody Harrelson's in it. I'm gonna fucking watch it. Like, you know what I mean? Then Channing Tatum has his own following, Scarlett Johansson has her own following, so on and so forth. So like it's crazy to think that now they're doing movies and it's not like the biggest box office situation. So I'm like, this probably could have been made more money being streamed, but who
Or like I
knows?
said, coming out in like March or October or something. Like, why was this in July in
Yeah,
blockbuster movie season? That's what feels weird about it. That's the only thing that felt weird about it. But
yeah.
it
Of
was cool. It was an elaborate jello mold with the textures and the
course
fruit
you go
inside of it.
Jello mold. The fruit salad.
Oh, is that a fruit salad?
No. Fruit salad's
Oh,
something different, but that when I think Jello molds and all this other stuff, I think like also fruit salad. So
Well, I mean, if you like fancy Jello with fruit chopped up in it, defend your opinions in the comments. I'm a Jello purist. If I'm really fancy, I'll put some whipped cream on that. A dollop,
I'm a Jello
properly
purist.
shaped and formed. But I'm mostly just like my Jello. I don't even do like little serving cups either. I just do like a gigantic punch bowl of Jello, and then give me a spoon and leave me alone and don't look at me nor judge me.
See, I like plain Jello too. I don't remember the last time I had Jello. I think I need more Jello in my life for sure, but I don't have the patience to make Jello at all. I need more patience.
Oh my goodness, you need a lot more patience. Jello's nothing to it. It's really simple.
No, I know it's simple, but then you gotta wait.
That is true.
That's the
That is
part that I'm not fond of.
well.
So,
Let me know how you felt about Fly Me to the Moon. Watch it more than the trailer, and hit us up in the comments. I love to talk about movies. People always see things I don't see, so I'm always down to look at those. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for kicking it with us. Subscribe, share, like, in that order. And we out. Thank you. Hey, can we get some Jello, man?